Oh no, I've lost my car. Don't worry though, I just double press the lock button. There it is. If you press this button here, then that, you can go into camping mode, and then you hit power share, open the charge port, plug this into there, turn this on, plug that into there, and then, check it out, you can run household items off it. Oh, found perfect on a hot day like today. If you do this to the passenger seat control, the leg rest extends. The speakers in the headrest so that your Bluetooth calls don't annoy your passengers. Underneath the rear passenger seat, look, you've got a secret storage drawer. I wonder where I left those. However, it's not all good. Here's some annoying things about this car. Being an electric car, obviously there's a front boot. Oh no, wait a minute. I want to open the sunroof, but there's no buttons here where you expect them. Instead, you have to do it like many things through the screen. Hit that and then go open sunroof. Yeah, then slide this. Yeah. Look, you've got ISOFIX anchor points on the front passenger seat, which is brilliant. What's less brilliant is how hard they are to get to, because they're buried away under like folds and folds of fabric, so you end up having to like, dig down. Let's try with the seat. Don't think this is going to work. It's almost impossible to do. No parent is going to bother doing that. This is the new Geely EX5, and it's a little bit like barley, because it's like holidaying in a luxury hotel in a country with an insanely cheap exchange rate. Believe it or not, this car I've got here with everything on it, through carwow, £38,000, which is a bargain when you see exactly the kit it's got on it. Let's be honest, this Geely is not the most spectacular looking car, but it's not ugly either. There is something slightly generic about it, but it's not offensive apart from one little feature here. Look, not a fan of these fake vents, but other than that, it's fine. I do like this paint. This paint is an £800 option and it looks expensive, lifts the car. You've got these black cladding around the wheel arches. You've also got, look, we have satin roof bars, some chrome here. Once again, lift it, give it an SUV vibe. Speaking of which, wheel sizes start at 18 on the entry level car, but then all of the models get 19s, and these are diamond cut. That's posh. Speaking of which, look at this, right? Isn't that? Listen. That doesn't sound like a cheap car, does it? Sounds good. Sounds solid. The only thing I don't like door handles that pop out like that, and you have to hold them like you're shaking someone's hand. But I do like this. I like doors that cover the sill, so when you're getting in and out, you don't rub the backs of your legs on a dirty sill. Look, it's all covered. It's kept clean. Speaking of clean, the rear of this car looks quite clean, doesn't it? It's a neat design. Clearly taken inspiration from the Porsche Macan. But if you're going to copy someone, why not copy Porsche?
But has Geely made any attempt to also copy the Macan's performance? Well, let's find out by launching it from 0 to 60 miles an hour.
We've got 218 horsepower, front wheel drive. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Pickup is quite slow off the mark, but now it's going. It's going now. 7 seconds. It's pretty much exactly what it's supposed to do. 7.1, they quote. That's fine. Does it stop well though? Let's find out. Okay, brake test from 60 miles an hour. We're looking for 35 meters or less. It is on good tires, Goodyear, so premium tires on this car. Will they do their job? Braking 3, 2, 1 now. What's the distance? It's in feet. I didn't set it up properly. Okay, so what's 108 feet?
That works out to 33 meters, which is surprisingly good for a car such as this. And that's not all.
I really like the interior design of this car. It's simple, it's classy, and if you pay an extra £300, you can have it uplifted with this lovely white trim. Definitely do that. Also, I even like the steering wheel. It's a weird shape, but it sort of works. It looks cool and modern, as does this divider here, which separates you from the passenger. Makes it feel a bit more sporty and special. The quality feels special as well. Like everything you touch is very nice. Look, nothing squeaks or rattles. Everything's well damped. Yeah, it has a definite premium feel to it, and that extends to the infotainment system. Yes, it's a bit big and distracting, but my goodness, it's sharp, it's clear, it's bright, and all the menus are actually pretty logically laid out. Look at the response on that, it's very good. And of course, it runs Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly. Now, this being the range topper, you get some upgrades such as like heated, ventilated and massage seats, this sunroof, and this upgraded sound system called Fly Me sound. Never heard of them, but it sounds really good. In terms of storage, decent storage under there. Actually, that feels nicely damped and expensive. We have some cup holders under there. Once again, nicely damped. Look, my Coke can in there, my bottle. Grips them pretty well. You'll notice here, look, while most things are controlled through the screen, you do have some controls for the climate, and then you just turn this knob to change the temperature. Look, I'm changing the temperature there. Or I can flip it to change the fan speed, which out of all the controls you want to be able to do manually, those are the ones. Digital driver's display, clear, enough information, dead easy to use and read. And the range topping versions, get this, a heads up display. So that's handy too. Just as an Easter egg, look, there's a little building etched into the windscreen at the bottom. Anyway, back to storage, glove box. Yeah, once again, decent size, nicely damped. And there's more storage under here. Look at this big area here. New USB-C there, 12-volt socket and old school USB. We have big door bins, which can hold a large bottle. It actually feels nice and spacious here in the front, but is it the same story in the back? Let's find out. There's loads of space back here. Look, knee room's great, headroom's good. There's lots of floor space for your feet, and you can stretch out underneath the seat in front. And check this out, either that and that. Get even more of a recline on. That is super comfy. It's wide enough as well to carry 3 adults in the back at once in reasonable comfort. And it's dead easy fitting a child seat in here as well, because the ISOFIX anchor points are easy to get to, and the doors open wide enough, and there's a lot of space, so even a bulky rear facing seat is not a problem. But we've also got like pockets on the seat backs, big door bins down there. You've got your USB-C there and an old school USB. And look, rear windows go all the way down. This is a surefire practical hit in the back seats. Hopefully the boot's as good. The boot capacity of this Geely EX5 is 461 litres, which is about average for this class of car. Can you fit the load cover underneath the false floor? Let's find out. Yes. But what matters is how many suitcases it can actually hold. So this is what its competitors can hold. Let's see if it can beat them. Now the first thing I'm going to do is this, look. Lift that up and try to fit a suitcase in this underfloor storage. I'll get in there, because that could be a winning factor. That's under. Now what I'm going to do is slide this forward, then back in to make the boot deeper. Now here we go. I'm going to load up the suitcases. Got one in already. Will it shut? That is amazing. Also, if you need to carry more suitcases, you can just fold down the rear seats and you have a completely flat load floor, which is also impressive. However, not everything about this car is good. Here's some annoying things about it. While the passenger gets padding on the side of the center console, the driver's side doesn't. So you end up resting your knee on there, and after a while, it starts to ache. For a Chinese car, the wireless charging speed is quite slow. Also, the charging dock is not cooled, which is uncool. You only get a light for the vanity mirror on the top spec cars. The EX5's range is a mediocre 260 miles. Here's the range of some competitors. However, if you step up to the Ultra, you get a bigger battery, which gives you, for £2,000, wait for it, 13 miles extra range. What is the point? It's not all bad though, because if I press this button here on the steering wheel, it brings up that menu there. I hit confirm, and then I can turn off all the annoying driver's aids. That's a win. The surround view camera is very good. So you've got all these different views, like you can look behind you, you can look in front of you, you can look to the side of you when you're pulling out of junctions. You can also go for the lovely 360-degree effect. And I like this. If I put the indicator on, it rotates it to the side of the car with the indicator. Worried about the reliability of a new Chinese entrant to the market? Don't be. This car comes with an 8-year, 125,000 mile warranty. It's not just for the batteries, it's for the whole car. Still though, the starting price of this Geely is just £31,000, which is great value for money. This one here, with all the bells and whistles, £38,000 through carwow. But which version would I go for? What spec? Well, do you know what? I've actually configured my ideal Geely EX5 through carwow. To find out what the spec is and the saving, click on the pop-out banner, scan the QR code, or follow the link in the description of this video. But do you know what? Instead of a brand new one of these, you could have a nearly new Audi Q4. Now it's the pre-facelift version, but through Carwow, it's also £38,000, so the same price as this car. Obviously, there is a bit of a risk when you're buying a used car. You should do it regardless of how new the used car is. And that's a car vertical history check to make sure that the car you're looking at doesn't have a hidden past. Because here's a car vertical report for another Audi Q4, which has been involved in an accident. Oh dear. Now, you probably wouldn't want to buy that car, or at least if you knew about that, you'd very much want to negotiate hard on the price. So before you buy a used car, make sure you do a car vertical history check and use the code CARWOW for 20% off. There's a link in the description. Do you know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. I am massively impressed with how this car drives. Really, really am. So in town, it's an absolute breeze. Really, really is. Apart from that noise, can you hear that noise? It's like my alarm's going on my phone. So visibility is great. You sit up high, the dash is low, great view forward. These pillars aren't too thick. Big door mirrors, really good rear view mirror, big back window, even little windows in the rear pillar. So it's all just so easy to see what's going on around you. And the steering is really light. And the brakes, not grabby, really smooth, really predictable for an electric car, for any car. But the rest of it, suspension feels nice and soft and smooth, really good at dealing with the bumps. I'm getting rocked slightly from side to side, but it's not a problem. Vehicle, that's it, I found it. This is an acoustic vehicle. Stop it! Yeah, it's this. This is what I'm hearing the whole time. So that's playing on the outside to people as I'm driving and I'm hearing it. That sounds awful, but it's going to be quieter now we're driving. That is much better. Let's just try Constellation. Shh. Now do it while driving, that's enough. That's the best noise. So what was originally looking like a bad, annoying thing, it's actually a good thing because you can change it to a sound you like. I take it all back, Geely. So, turning circle, 10.8 meters, which is really good for a car of this size. I will, of course, whack up the 360 cameras. Here we go. Look, I can see all the way around me. That van is causing me jip. Will I get round? Yep. No, this person, no. Look. No, this guy, I'd end up crushing his legs. I got you, mate, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't you worry, sunshine. You sort out your little bag. It'll all be fine. A little bag in a BMW? That does not compute.
So this Geely feels perfectly at home in town. But how well does it cope with longer journeys on faster roads?
So I'm joining a dual carriageway. Let's check the pickup from 40 miles an hour. 3, 2, 1, I'm at 40. That's easily enough punch. Now, going a bit quicker, I do notice a bit of wind noise here. It's acceptable though, but I'm having to raise my voice slightly. What's more than acceptable though, the seats. I find these seats really, really comfy, but you can tell it's not a luxury car when you're driving at speed. It just doesn't have the sound insulation, but it's fine. In terms of the range, well, I'm averaging 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, which works out to 223 miles of range on the 60 kilowatt hour battery, which is 87% off the claimed range. So even though the total battery size is a bit small, the real world number is very similar, so that's actually quite acceptable. And this is the thing that surprised me about this car. It goes down the road extremely well. Now, Geely owns Lotus and Volvo, and I bet their engineers have been involved in how this car drives. It does have a bit of a floaty feeling to it, but that means the suspension is always very, very comfortable. It feels luxurious the way it glides down the road. German cars, high-end German cars, have a little bit less like floatiness. They seem to just hunker down a bit more, but this doesn't seem to lose grip. Speaking of grip, this car does lean quite a bit in the bends, but lean isn't necessarily a bad thing if the car is still gripping, and this one does. It grips quite hard. You can drive it surprisingly quickly. And then there's the controls. So yeah, the steering doesn't have much feeling through it at all, but it's accurate and it points the car exactly where you think it's going to, so it's intuitive. Sometimes with Chinese cars, it's like there's no relationship between how much you turn the wheel and how much steering you get, whereas this, you know exactly where you are with it. In fact, with all the controls, it's like that. The brakes, the throttle response is pretty good, apart from at one point, and that is when you're accelerating from a standstill. There is another thing about this that that was the wheel spin, front wheel drive, put your foot down, wheel spin. It's not as bad as some other front wheel drive electric cars, but what is this? When you go over a bump, can you see the steering wheel shake there? Did you see it? While you don't feel anything through the steering wheel, normally, if you hit bumps and stuff, it really is transmitted back into your hands, which is a bit odd. But overall, the way this drives is better than I thought it would, and I think it's more than up to the job, and in many ways, extremely pleasant. Now, most motoring journalists will go on, the driving dynamics are a little bit loose. But for most people, most of the time, they're going to be very, very impressed with this. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Geely EX5? Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist it. It does only have a mediocre range, but it's still a really good car and insane value for money. Now, if range is something that does bother you, maybe you don't want an electric car anyway, you want a hybrid. If so, check out my review of the JQ7 here. Also, do you agree with my verdict? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to this channel because we've got some more reviews coming out soon. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.